Hello everyone, I'm Aaron and today I'll be doing a speech about why marijuana should be legal. Marijuana, also called weed, is a greenish-gray mixture of the dried flower of cannabis sativa. Marijuana is a drug that is always being talked about all over the media. There is a steady debate on whether it should be legalized or not. Also debate on if it were to be legalized, how would they make it work? When you look at the benefits, there is no question that marijuana must be legal throughout the entire country. There are way more positive things that could come out of it being legal. The first reason with marijuana must be legal is due to the fact how many drugs are legal. Marijuana is one of a few not too harmful drugs that are illegal. Many hard drugs such as painkiller, heroin, and cocaine are drugs that are very damaging to your health and perhaps even your life. Marijuana should not be put under the same category as this drug. It ought to be below the class that includes alcohol, tobacco, and even sugar. That's why many cannot understand why marijuana isn't legal and alcohol is. Marijuana should have fair legal policies just like all the other drugs that are in the equal class as it. The policies should be modified. The next reason marijuana needs to be legalized is due to the fact it will keep youngsters off the streets and away from the drugs that are more harmful. Marijuana, in many cases, could be sold from dealers who also sell hard drugs. Therefore, if marijuana was legal and sold in a store in the correct way, it will help youngsters stay away from other drugs that dealers have to offer. Marijuana is going to be bought either way, so it might as well be sold legally. If the policy was changed and it was sold legally, it will keep youngsters out of danger and make it tougher to be a drug dealer. Lastly, does the government ever ask themselves the query, has anybody ever died from marijuana usage? They must not ask themselves that question due to the fact the answer will be no. There isn't even a section for marijuana in the disease control and protection section. That is because marijuana is not linked to death in any way. Also, it is shown to have no link to cancer or any different damaging disease there are out there. Marijuana isn't even linked to lung cancer. However, the authorities have such a massive concern on alcohol use and spend most of its time worrying about that. If marijuana is an essential concern for the government, then why not simply make it legal? If it isn't unsafe and inadequate to even have a category, then why wouldn't it be legal? The policy is truly not right and a great deal must be changed. All in all, marijuana should be legalized and the policy should be changed immediately. There is too much good from this policy change for us not to do it. There are many people that agree with policy change and the government needs to do the same.
Hello, my name is Glenis Christophine Souza and today I will be delivering a speech about why we shouldn't legalize marijuana. Marijuana is a class of drug that has been legalized in some country in the world. There is no doubt that the substance has helped in some aspect of life until it is legalized, although it is still a kind of drug. My standpoint in this issue is about why we shouldn't legalize marijuana or cannabis. There are several reasons why the legalization of the substance will create more harm than good. First and foremost, health. Marijuana or cannabis are often described as the safest drug in the world and 100 times better than alcohol, tobacco, cocaine, and heroin because there haven't been an overdose death related to marijuana unlike the other drugs. But the question is how safe it is for the human body. An article stated that smoking marijuana for a long term will cause health issues like respiratory failure and chronic bronchitis episode. Psychologically, smoking marijuana for a long term will also risk the smoker to develop schizophrenia and other psychosis. You might ask, what if the smoker is not a heavy smoker? Then this health risk won't exist at all. Wrong. Marijuana is still a drug and general fact about drug is it is addictive. Regardless of how good you are in keeping your addiction in check, once you try or smoke this substance, the possibility to quit entirely is impossible unless you decide to go on rehabilitation and stop smoking after it. Second point is violence. In the previous point, I did mention how consuming or smoking marijuana can increase the risk for someone to develop schizophrenia. Marijuana advocates often argue that the drug can be as neurotoxic as study suggests because otherwise Western countries would have seen population-wide increase in psychosis alongside rising marijuana use. There are countries that can't track the increase in psychosis cases because no system was created to track severe mental illnesses. But some population data level does exist. Research from Finland and Denmark, the two countries that track mental illness more accurately, shows a significant increase in psychosis since 2000, following an increase in cannabis use. What is clear that in individual cases, marijuana can cause psychosis, and psychosis is a high risk factor for violence, and much of that violence occurs when psychotic people are using drugs. As long as people with schizophrenia are avoiding drugs, they are only more likely to become violent than healthy people. But when they use drugs, their risk of violence skyrocket. And the drug they're most likely to use is marijuana. The most obvious way that cannabis fuels violence in psychotic people is through its tendency to cause paranoia. Even marijuana advocates now acknowledge that the drug can cause paranoia. The risk is so obvious that users jokes about it, but for people with psychotic disorder, paranoia can fuel extreme violence. A 2007 paper in the Medical Journal of Australia looked at 88 defendants who had committed homicide during psychotic episode. It found that most of the killers believed they were in danger from the victim, and almost two-thirds reported misusing cannabis. Far less work has been done on marijuana because advocates have stigmatized people who raises the issue. This proved my standpoints on why marijuana should not be legalized in order to create a better living. Thank you for spending time listening to our speech.